Hi, everybody. Welcome to week 5 of Notes. This week we're going to be doing lesson 6 in unit 2 of your textbook. So this is the last lesson in the DOL book. If you're using your green packet, it starts on page 12. If you are using your science learning journal, I'm going to make sure that you have a fresh piece of paper and be writing down the vocabulary terms and their definitions. All right, so this lesson is all about animal behaviors. Some of this information might be familiar to you, some of it might be new, but I like it. It's pretty easy to understand, and there's some cool videos with it because it's all about animals and how they kind of survive in the environment. All right, to start out, we're going to talk about just in general, what is a behavior? So behavior is just a set of actions to respond to a stimulus, all right, or stimuli. Remember, stimuli is plural. Remember, stimulus is just anything that happens that causes an organism to react. So it's not only in animals, all living things respond to the environment. And this is just going to get more specific on different ways that animals respond to their environment. So there's internal stimuli, and those are stimuli that come from inside an organism, comes from within. So it cannot be controlled. It's going to happen, and there's nothing we can do about it. So an example would be hunger, right? You're going to feel pain because you're hungry, and you're going to respond to that. You're going to get yourself something to eat or try to. An external stimulus comes from the outside or another source. So this can sometimes be controlled. So for example, if it's really hot outside and you're sweating and your body can't take it anymore, you can try to move to a cooler location. So it's something that you can control a little bit more than the internal stimulus. So some more internal stimuli would be pain is a good example. When you break a bone, for example, your body is going to go into a lot of pain. That pain is a signal that something is wrong. It tells you that something's wrong. Your leg is broken. You should not stand on it. You need to do something to try to fix it. Okay. Thirst. Our body is going to have different signals to tell us that we're thirsty and we need to get something to drink. Okay. So those are all things coming from the inside. Or you can think of having a fever, when you feel really run down, when you're sick. That's your body telling you that there's something wrong and you need to rest. All right. External stimuli. So temperature, we've talked about this before. You're going to sweat when it's really hot. You're going to shiver when it's really cold. Things like smell, like you smell food, it's going to trigger something inside your brain and it's going to cause you to react. If you're hungry, your stomach might growl, you might drool, etc. Sight, if you see something that's frightening, your body's going to react. There's the flight or fright. That means you're either going to run away or you're going to get a lot of adrenaline and want to defend yourself from whatever that scary situation is. All right, so those are external stimuli. All right, so how do we get these behaviors? Well, some of them are innate, right? Innate is a natural response to stimuli. So you don't need to learn how to do it or have experience. It's something that's instinctive. So I'm sure you've heard the word instinctive before. It's just a natural response to something. A learned behavior is something that you develop through your life. So either just through experience, things you've gone through in your life, or from watching others or learning from someone. All right, so just a couple of pictures on here of innate is the birds. They naturally open up their mouths when they see their mother to get their food. The chimps, they can learn different tools by being trained to use different expressions to display their emotions. Here's some more innate behaviors. Spiders naturally know how to spin their web. They're going to get more skilled at it with time, but they are born knowing how to do that. This is a picture of meerkats. Meerkats come out of their burrows and they warm themselves in the sun. That's an innate behavior that they do. Babies are born knowing how to suck. So if you give them a bottle or a breast, they're going to know how to get the milk from it. Migration patterns, when birds fly, they know automatically where they're supposed to be going. They know how to make nests. This is something that they can kind of learn how to get better at it and different strategies at nest building, but in general, they innately know how to make a nest. Learned behaviors, hunting and foraging strategies that animals need to find food. A lot of times they learn those strategies from their parents. So this is a picture of a mother bear teaching the cubs how to hunt for fish using tools. Chimps will learn from others how to use tools to get to food. Language, we all learn a language from birth, depending on what language is being spoken around us. We're going to naturally learn it. Survival behaviors. So these are different things that animals are going to do so that they can survive. All right, so finding food, various techniques to either hunt for their food if they are a carnivore or an omnivore. Forage is a word that the herbivores use to collect food, to find food in the wild. Avoiding danger. So there's tons of different things that animals do to hide from predators or to protect themselves from some sort of danger. So this can be different coloring. This can be having spikes on their body. This can be squid squirting out ink to kind of confuse their predators. Different things like that. Reproduction. So they have different behaviors to help them find a mate in the wild. And then a lot of animals parent their young, meaning they live with them for a certain period of time to help them survive by teaching them things, by helping them find food, by protecting them from other predators. And it depends on the animal how long this is going to last for. Some animals don't parent at all. You think about baby sea turtles, they hatch from their egg, they make it to the ocean, they're on their own from the beginning. But some animals will live with their offspring for several years to teach them different strategies, right? So just some different pictures of animals avoiding danger. Here's a porcupine. They're going to pop up their quills to protect their body. This is an octopus. Octopus can camouflage to hide either from their prey or from predators. And they also have this ability to make themselves kind of these bright and scary colors. And that can scare away somebody that's trying to eat them. So some animals will work together when they live in a group or a pack to protect themselves from danger. So for example, like a herd of animals will kind of all run together and they'll kind of circle around a more vulnerable animal, like a young one or an older one, to protect that animal from the predator. So that's another way they can avoid danger. Courtship. So animals need to find a mate, and that's an important thing in the wild because they want to make sure that their young are able to survive. So in the birds, you're going to see these kind of elaborate courtship rituals, usually with the males. The males are usually very, very colorful and kind of do strange dances, etc., to attract the female, which is usually more plain looking. And they do this to just kind of display that they have good genetics, and if she mates with them, then their young will survive and be healthy. So they do all sorts of elaborate dances. This one kind of puffs up this strange kind of balloon under their chin. And then just around here in Pennsylvania, you can see there's really beautiful birds. The bluebirds and the cardinals have very elaborate coloring, and those are always the male birds. This is this really crazy spider called the peacock spider. It's super, super small. It's like the size of a grain of rice. And this is the male. And they do these dances for the female. And I was actually going to add this to the videos this week, but there's kind of a lot of videos this week, so I didn't want to overload you. But if you're interested and you want to look it up on YouTube, it's really cool. The males do these little dances, and then a lot of times the female will kill the male if she's not interested. But yeah, they have these really cool colorings on this tail that they kind of puff up. All right, seasonal behaviors. So migration, you guys have all heard of migration before. A migration is a seasonal movement when animals will move from one place to another. A lot of times it's for weather purposes to get to a warmer area. Sometimes it's for breeding, so they'll go to warmer waters if you're looking at marine animals to breed and to have their young, and then they'll travel back when the young are kind of older and know how to hunt for various reasons. Hibernation is a period of inactivity during a cold season. So bears hibernate during the winter, and this is for animals that can't migrate. And so they need a way to survive a period of time where not only that it's really cold, but there's not a lot of food. So they basically sleep. It's a very deep sleep. It's different than everyday sleep. And they eat a lot of food before it, and then they sleep during that time, and they slowly burn the calories so that they can last during that time until the climate is more favorable for them. Estivation is really similar. Estivation is a period of inactivity during hot or dry times. So a lot of desert animals will do this. These are worms, actually. Worms will burrow underground kind of together to help retain moisture if it's really, really dry. Frogs will do this during just certain parts of the day. So it's not totally the same as hibernation. It's not always for like an entire season. Sometimes it's just during a really, really hot or dry period. But they're basically the same. They lower their heart rate. They kind of lower everything down. So they kind of sleep during that time underground where it's cooler. All right, social behaviors. Oops, this kind of got messed up. So um, we usually teach biological clock and circadian rhythm, but we took it out this year. So you want to cross that out and then write in group living. I made a mistake on my packet this year and I accidentally deleted group living. So we're going to make this group living instead. Two things you want to write in this box. Group living, here's some advantages. It helps when they live together, they can help each other defend against predators. They help each other parent their young. They can help each other hunt and find food, etc. So there's lots of advantages to living with a group of animals. But there's also competition between them. Diseases can spread easier. They have to share food. So there are some negatives as well. All right, last but not least is communication, how animals communicate. So animals will communicate to tell each other information about something, to influence the behavior of another. So whether they're fighting with another animal over territory, they can, puff up their body, make loud sounds to kind of scare away that other animal out of their territory. So that would be an example of influencing another one. Or they can just talk, maybe if they live in a group, they can make different communication efforts to tell them that they found food or that there's danger, or like I showed you, the different dances and stuff for mating rituals. All right, so for examples, animals can use sounds, obviously different calls, birds sing songs. Any kind of sound is going to convey a message, just like our language does. Chemicals, so this would be smell, or sometimes there's kind of chemicals that don't necessarily have a smell. They're called pheromones that can be detected by the animals, and they know that someone else is around. They can sense danger. Body language, dancing, touch. Elephants will touch their trunks to give each other a sign of affection, etc. This is the bees. Honeybees do this thing called a waggle dance. When they go back to their hive, they will kind of jiggle and loop in one direction or another, and that's a way of them telling the other worker bees in the hive where the food is. So it's pretty neat that they can do that, and that's their way of talking to each other. All right, so that's it for the notes this week. There's lots of videos to kind of give you more examples of all these different behaviors. As usual, please reach out with any questions. I'll put the vocabulary terms at the end of the week agenda slideshow if you want to study those for the quiz. All right, have a good week.